All right, guys. Happy Saturday. It's the weekend. And of course, we got a Pocket Change Market Report. I hope you guys aren't too tired of this. I love doing this each and every single other 3 days or 4 days or whatever it is. I think most of all, what I do love about doing these videos is we get to see kind of like an evolution, right? Of the market, how collectors and various people, investors, kind of, see how the error and variety market is. When we first started doing the PCMR about 10 years ago, or somewhere around there, it's probably less than that. The overall kind of like outlook and sentiment was a lot different, right? A lot of people just really did not know anything about what I was talking about, but it was kind of like this new premise, and it really got people's eyes open. And over the course of the last decade, we've seen a monumental shift into the overall general interest of what we talk about on this video, to the point where it's almost like, it's an intentional thing with a lot of people that go out and they roll hunt. They go to the banks. They're very religious and intentional about getting a box of half dollars or pennies or what have you. And it's like there's certain things that we talk about on a weekly basis just from this report that has made a huge impact. A huge impact to a lot of people's collecting direction, a lot of impact to the financial side of it as well. Because we've certainly seen a lot of coins and paper money over the years sell for money that a lot of people just really don't understand. We're talking obscene amounts of money, selling a penny that you find out of circulation for 40 or 50 bucks at first glance is like an impossible thing to grasp in our minds. But, it's something that we all embrace on a daily basis, as, and the hobby is my daily thing. This is what drives me every day. So hopefully you guys will enjoy what we have for you here today. We're going to look at the back 48 hours of market data, all from eBay. A few select coins that I have chosen, all within the last 48 hours. Of course, we could have padded this list to an obscene level. I could have put 100 coins on here. But generally, we look at 20 to 30 coins, somewhere in that area. We are actually right in the middle at 26, or close to the middle. And, this will give you guys a little insight of what can be found out there and how much you can expect to achieve by reselling it on the platform. You'll have a grasp of the most amount of collectors and general interest by selling it on eBay than you would, say, going to a coin shop and just trying to convince one, probably prospective dealer that really all they care about is something that they could sell the same day. Whereas some of these pieces, it might take a few days or a week or two to move on the market. But yeah, we'll take a look at this here in short order. And we saw on the platform Whatnot as well. I supplement eBay with Whatnot and a few other sites. One of the fastest growing live social media platforms. You guys don't need me to explain this anymore. We had a show last night. Every Friday, we try and do a show, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We highlight some amazing things. We actually last night sold through four bank boxes of 2023 Denver Lincoln Cents. As you guys know, bank wrapped sealed equity is like, it's all the rage right now. And we're gonna do more of that in the future. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But we also saw a lot of the great type coins that you would expect. Morgan dollars, a lot of classical stuff as well. Go ahead and scan the QR code if you haven't done so already. Save yourself $15 off your first item. That comes off the top immediately upon your first purchase. It's really easy. And if you didn't want to use the QR code, I will have my links down below in the description box. You can sign up just the same way. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. One of the coins, one of the error types that is gaining a lot of steam. Again, we're seeing an evolution here in the valuation of certain coins that maybe 5-10 years ago you can even sell for chump change or for a bag of peanuts, But, overall, as time goes on, Collecting, there's new introductions to various archetypes of mint errors and varieties. And it doesn't matter how major or how minor these things are. There's always going to be kind of like a dedicated collector base to help kind of support the need for them on the secondary market. And that's one of these coins right here. This one, as you can see, has kind of like a wood graining pattern. We call these woodies. Typically highly collected in the Lincoln Cent series because they're copper, and with that tin or zinc that they add to the composition mix, it doesn't quite mix out as well, kind of like oil and water in a way, will produce some really stunning visual appeals like this one here. It's always great when you see the wood graining on both sides of the coin. The technical error name is improper alloy mix, okay, which fits the mold perfectly to a T. This particular one right here at 1938p is actually one of the more common dates that you could find. But this, based off of the sold listing value at $19.75, is a far departure of what they used to sell 4 or 5 years ago, when kind of like, it wasn't on a lot of people's radar, and there were only maybe 1 or 2 niche collectors that were really pursuing these, and those early adopters were able to find some of the more rarer dates of a wood grain on some of the Lincoln Cents, like a 1922 D or plain. You could find this particular anomaly on there and just make it a whole lot better. You can make the argument as well that some collectors don't like this look because it does kind of like lead hand in hand to laminations. And laminations also were kind of like a minor type of mint error. Again, today, to a lot of like the lower end collectors that want to dive into something that they could put a really nice epic collection together, improper alloy mixes and lamination errors have been kind of like jumping up here recently. So if you're not having any luck selling these like at a coin shop, understandably, they probably won't touch them based off of what they are, but on eBay, it's a very robust market. Next one that we have here, boy, as time goes on, we tend to forget some of the coins that have hit certain milestones. The 2023P, Edith Kanakaole, American Women Quarter, was one of them. Hard to believe this thing's almost 2 years old, but in any event, there's a pretty strong die clash that you could find on here. It actually shows up on the reverse and the obverse. The big one was Edith's name clashed into George Washington's kind of like hairline, ear area. As strong as this is, that'll help dictate how much these are worth. A lot of what we do find in circulation are pretty well beat up by now, 2 years later. But if you have a nice premium example, you could probably still sell it for a good amount of money. Like this particular one sold for $59.95. That's $60. It's crazy. That's if we're using like face value here, that's what 120 times face value. Which again, to a lot of people, it's like, wow, that's crazy. Did I get that right? For every 40 quarters, it's $10. No, I'm actually 240 times face value. That's more like it. So that, when you look at it at that perspective, that's like a huge jump for a coin that, you probably could have been handed to you at a restaurant or a gas station, and you turn around and sell it and make $60 off the rib. That's like enough to put gas in the tank of your car or buy some groceries for the week. You never know. It's pretty cool. This one right here, again, this one right here, you can kind of make the argument that the mint error doesn't contribute anything at all to the coin. As a matter of fact, it might detract from a lot of collectors that want a coin that maybe is a semi-key date. A 12S is one of those. It's very valuable in certain grades. Like when you get to like VF and higher, where the coin exhibits a lot of detail that you want for a collectible coin, the mint error, might actually make it lose more value. This one has a little bit of a lamination on the reverse. If you look at the very bottom, at the tip of the wheat stalk there, you can see a retained lamination, kind of like flap. So first of all, the coin sold for $50.75, and I can honestly tell you, the coin in this condition would probably get up too close to being worth that kind of money. So the lamination, in hindsight, really doesn't add a whole lot to it, but there are collectors of this particular mid-era that possibly are putting together a date set. So this one might actually fill that need pretty well, and a relatively strong sold price helps illustrate what we have going on here. Next one here, kind of a crazy one. 1961 Jefferson nickel has like 99 problems, obviously, but that ragged clip, where it's like the end of strip. It's a very rude cutout, kind of like, it looks like a stone that was broken in half. Is what this looks like, and that's what they call a ragged clip. There's no fissures or any blowholes or anything like that. That's where you actually have the ragged part of the clip going into the coin, creating like another hole. This one does not have it, but it does appear to have what looks to be some contact marks on the obverse. That is damage. You can see it on the rim there by the word God. So far from the perfect coin, but a pretty neat example nonetheless. This one sold for $29.08. You can find these in circulation. I have over the years. I found them on Lincoln cents, on nickels. I think there was also a $50 that I had found with a similar type of clip. And they're all cool. I've made really good money selling these over the years, and I would highly encourage, if you found one, it might look damaged at first, but hold on to it and let someone else look at it, and they'll give you a better assessment of what you have. But do not toss these out if you do come across them. One of my favorites, I found quite a few of these back in 2021, but this is the K3 to K7 die break Lincoln cent. This one is famous in the numismatic worlds of mid-eras, and seeing as how Lincoln cents are atop the food chain as far as the most desired series types. Something like this, is going to be etched and ingrained in people's memories as being a very, very cool find. Now, this one right here has some staining on the reverse. Again, to a lot of collectors that want one of these, that might actually help with like finding a budget example, which is what this one is. Ended up selling for $140.85. These things never really got down to cheap enough where you felt like that you were getting these for free. Like if it got down to $50, there's definitely something wrong with the coin, because it really never hit $100. This is like one of the cheapest ones I've seen of this in a long while. We have another nice one here. Speaking of die breaks, we have a really nice cut on here, but unfortunately we can't read a date because of that raised die break is obscuring the date. So we do know it's from the 1900s, right? Long time ago. It feels like forever. On this Lincoln Memorial cent, it's even kind of hard to tell if this is a copper or a zinken. It kind of looks like a copper, but hard to tell. When this was taken, by the way, in a 2x2 carded flip. Seeing as how those particular care products for coins are very cheap, they're a dime a dozen. I would say take the coin out of the holder. You can take better pictures that way. You don't get a lot of the glare of the plastic and some of the fuzziness. Your phone, your device will be able to focus better when the coin is out of these holders. So this one right here, $53.34. Again, Cuds are kings in the error world. The pricing is very consistent. You can make quite a bit of money if you found some of these. One of my favorites. This one's cool. I wish I would have seen it. I would have bought it. It's a 1997 Lincoln Memorial cent. It's the variety that a lot of people kind of forgot, but it is a Cherry Picker's Guide variety. It's a doubled ear, aka doubled die obverse FS101 variety. Here's a little close-up of the ear. You can see the extra earlobe on this one. Good job by the seller for putting in a few of those little arrows to showcase what we're looking at. This one sold for $65.99. And it's a pretty decent looking coin. Probably a mid-state 62 or 3 on this one. While nothing too crazy, I've seen these things sell for a few $100s in much higher condition. So another good one to add to the list if you're an avid hunter of Lincoln cents. We also have this one here too. Man, I haven't seen one of these in a while either. 2015 Lincoln Shield is up next with a bisecting rim to rim die crack, as you can see there on the obverse. And the last one that sold at this, did really well. I think it got close to about $200, which just kind of like shows you the staying power of such coins. This one had circulated a little bit, not too bad, but overall it's a nice collector-friendly type of coin that is easy to sell later on once you're ready to get out of the hobby. And you never know, this one probably will end up being worth more in the future if we are truly done with the Lincoln cent production. So again, it's going to be a nostalgia play here on something like this. This one did really, really well. $149.46 was your final sale price on that one. Here's one that stumped the heck out of me, and this is the only one that you'll see on the PCMR for today, but there was like 4 or 5 of them that sold, all pretty similar in value. 2023 Lincoln Shield cent. As you guys know, in 23, this is the year where you can find that extra V anomaly on some of the coins. However, you don't see any of that on here because there's a little mild strike through. And you can see it very apparently all around the what they call peripheral. It's right up to the edge of that rim on the front of the coin, where there was a little bit of grease on the die. So it had to strike through this grease, and then anywhere that there was grease on the die will not strike up the design devices in the best way in that area. So you can see L and Liberty's completely gone. Anywhere where it's kind of like a light shade of pink is where the strike through is. Most notably, the truncation or base of Lincoln's bust is completely obscured off of this strike through, and they actually call this one the missing VDB variety, when in reality it is simply just a strike through event. And that's kind of like part of the reason why that these things end up selling for $70-$80 a pop. Again, it's a very irrational kind of money because we've seen other similar strike throughs, sell for like $5 to $10. But what are we talking about here? This is obviously a play on, a power play. If you got some of these, sell them. If someone's willing to pay $70-$80 for these right now, and I have a feeling it's going to be either 1 or 2 people out there, scooping these up, might as well give it a shot, right? Would I buy it for that? No way. No chance. Because I even have a couple of these, and I'm like, I probably wouldn't even, try selling them. I'll just keep the couple that I have. But yeah, this one sold for $79. There's another one that sold for $74.99. Another one that sold for $75. And the thing is, these were put up as buy it nows. All right, so the buy it now hits. Obviously, you put up what you're asking for it, and they'll buy it. All right, so definitely worth a shot if you guys have something like this. Yeah, missing VDB strike through. Yeah, that's what I would say on it. There you go. 1995, Lincoln Memorial sent this one with a nice little jailbird die clash. As you could see and notice on the obverse. Die clashes on like earlier copper cents and the ones that you could find on the newer coins with the copper-plated zinc composition. Yeah, they look a little bit differently. These look more ghostly than anything else. This one sold for $34.99. Clashes always tend to do well on the secondary market. 1982 large date copper Lincoln cent. This one's off center by what looks to be like 15%, somewhere around there. Pretty good tough date here. I said copper, but it might actually be a zinken, which would be kind of a game changer because There's not too many off-center Zinkins with a large date 82. That probably is the reason why this one sold for $53.40. I did not do a good job at examining the listing to see if they specified copper or if this one's a Zinkin. I'm thinking zinc. It just has that look in my opinion. Pretty neat one here. 2004D, Washington Quarter. This is the Michigan statehood type, and it is actually missing the nickel-clad reverse layer on this one. So you have the nickel that's shining very nice and silvery on the obverse, but on the reverse it's all copper. This one right here is pretty neat. Actually weighs in at just under 5 grams. So slightly underweight, obviously, which makes sense. This one sold for $150. There were a couple graded examples, not specifically of Michigan, but other quarters that sold for like $150 to $200. So again, this is one of those classic cases where grading it does not necessarily add value to it. So that's why we don't grade them at all. Keep the $40-$50 in your pocket and just go ahead and sell it as is, and make some money. 1818 matron head large set. Now this one was sold because of the pretty neat little die crack that's like snaking its way all through the 13 stars, the date, and it's like infinite. It just keeps going round and round. Believe it or not, that's actually quite common on this date. And the earlier date matron heads, even like 1817, you could find that die crack that goes through all of the stars. But overall, this is a pretty decent example. I'd probably call it like fine 15, as a technical grade. It's got a little porosity on there, which might indicate the coin was in the ground at one point. But it's a beautiful kind of time capsule piece. This one sold for $71.99 with 17 bids. So our first item for the day, that was in a bidding scenario as opposed to a buy it now type listing. Here's another one here, 1987, Washington Quarter. Neat, man, this thing's cool. A date that we've seen before, off-center struck, but this one's like really off-center. Seller said 60%, and I would be inclined to agree with that. And another one for a date set, and someone will see this and want this in their collection. Sold for $73.77. 17 bids this time around. 1997P Roosevelt dime. Dime errors. Again, all sorts of love these days. This one a really nice off-center struck coin. By about 10-15%. Sold for $56. 21 bids. Actually, it's the same seller of the 1987 Washington Quarter we just looked at previously. Good to see. Roosevelt dimes getting a redesign for 2026. But not too much else is known about beyond that in 2027. Are they going to revert back to the good old rosy, design? Not too much information is available on that. So we used to do a fancy serial number report independently. We've since left that to more capable folks like Kingdom Currency, which, by the way, great YouTube channel, a prolific seller on the platform Whatnot, and is a show attendee. He was just at the St. Louis show here about a couple weeks ago. We're going to splash in the occasional fancy serial number on the PCMR. And we have this one here, 7 of a kind ones. And it's ironic that the one interrupting number is a 7, which I think is cool. And it's a CC block. So it's like it matches all the way around. So this particular one right here is on a rather ragtag looking 2013 dollar bill. And look at the reverse here. Yeah, that thing is in rough shape. If for a little while longer, this thing would have been pulled out of circulation, because the banks do keep an eye on notes that are pretty tough to deal with once they become too like light and raggedy, and they can't go through their coin or their paper money counters anymore. Then they'll send them off for destruction. This one, fortunately, was saved, And it sold for $121.11. Obviously, you don't want to leave that kind of money on the table. Fancy serial numbers are hot right now. A lot of people are into it, and people are paying big bucks for some of the more desirable combinations of numbers and letters. 1977 Lincoln cent, another cud, this time on the other side of the coin. You can actually read the date here. No doubt about it, this one's copper. This one sold for $59.99. 4 total bids on this one. And crazy, there was a couple of these that sold. We're going to focus on this one, 1940 something. We don't know what the date is because the last date obviously is not there, the last digit. Call this one like a strike through or struck with dirty or clogged dies is what we have here. Some of the strike through also on Liberty as well. A little bit of a rim bump, it looks like, on the reverse at like 7 o'clock. You can see that right there. So it's far from the perfect coin. This one sold for $44.81. You know what's crazy? This one was bid up. 20 total bids for this. There was also another example that sold for like $35-40. Same virtual coin. And it sold within, I would say, not even half a day from each other. So that's kind of interesting that, this particular minor mid-error that we don't see too often. Now, 2 of them show up within like hours of each other. Sold for a fairly decent amount of money. Neat one here, as you would guess from the images. This was actually another one from Brian Rybar, a prolific seller of die varieties and mid-airs on the platform. 1943, P over P, repunchment mark number 7. Without even getting close, you can actually see it. This one's nuts. There you go. The secondary P mid mark is punched east of the primary here. Brian always does a great job with the close-ups using a digital microscope and with the placement of arrows to show what we're looking at here. $24.95 was the sale price. Yeah, not the greatest pictures. Kind of like a tale of two images here. Yes, that is the 2015 P Homestead America the Beautiful Quarter. This one has the WDDR number 4, the doubled pump handle right in the window, as you can see here. $19.98. There's not too many of these available online to buy. They're dwindling by the day. And there are some times where there's none available online. Yeah. Coins and cards with another banger. FS 101 doubled die obverse 1972 Lincoln cent. This thing is the beacon of awesomeness for a variety. You can see the doubling on the motto, on Liberty, on the date. The Lincoln's jacket, obviously, showing that pretty wildly as well. A nice kind of like, it's like a AU Brown example. It looks good. It's decent. $452. It was a sale price. 43 bids. So Coins and Cards generally sells their coins through regular auction formats, and they do very well. They're very well known. A lot of people love their auctions. We had to throw in a nice paper money error. We have a 1991 $20 bill with a fold over. It's actually got a couple folds. So it folded in the corner, and then that tip kind of folded in again to create a little bit of an obstruction for the print on the overprint, actually, with the serial numbers and all that great stuff. Pretty nice looking note. I'm going to say it's a nice higher end, like AU, crispy uncirculated. And then this third picture shows it completely unfolded, showing you all the craziness here. Again, some would say, man, I can't believe that this thing's not a graded holder. And, oftentimes it would be. It would be in a graded holder. This one sold for $341.99. This time, 33 total bids accumulated to that amount. There's some neat stuff here this week. 1976, Jefferson Nickel double struck. The secondary strike is like 95% off center. What's also cool is that secondary double struck piece has the date on it too, which kind of like makes the collectability and awesomeness factor go up from a 10 to 1,000. I mean, this thing is neat as heck. So, yeah, not at all surprised. This one sold for $129.99, which I feel like is right in the wheelhouse for something like this. Another neat one here, too. Someone found a 1983 Proust set. They opened this puppy up. Guess what? It had the No S Roosevelt dime, one of the big missing mint mark coins to look for. So you guys know an 83S Proust set is not really anything to shake a stick at. It's like a $6 to $8 collectible set. If you went to a coin shop, that's how much you would pay for the thing. But it turns out that this one is worth a lot more than that. As a matter of fact, it's sold for $750 here in the last couple days. I love it. You gotta love like good warming stories like this, where someone had found one of the pretty big sought after varieties, and this is one of them. 2004D Wisconsin quarter. I'm gonna let you guys know and give you guys a little bit of a forewarning. These things are hot right now, especially graded. Nobody can keep them in. They're selling like left and right. There's even a full set of these of 3 coins where it has the high leaf, the low leaf, and the regular, all graded by NGC or PCGS, and those things are like $500, $600, $700, and you don't even have to blink twice. They'll sell in a heartbeat too. This is the low leaf variety. This one is actually located in Arizona, which is where the seller is at. And every single one of these that comes up, they sell very well. This one ended at $90 for a coin that obviously is a little bit circulated. Pretty cool. And the last coin of the day, 1922 peace dollar. You just never know what you're going to find on that low-end, scrappy, constitutional silver piece. This one, a pretty sizable strike through right on the obverse. There's even a little bit of strike through on the reverse too in those rays above dollar. But yeah, check that out. Right in the word in God we trust. Right there, there was probably, a foreign substance of grease and debris, maybe some piece of wood or a detached lamination for something else that was on the die. Yeah, pretty cool. I'm surprised it didn't sell for more. $58.99 with 15 bids, but it's a coin that realistically raw, because it's a 22p, it's a very common date, that you can pick up for between like 30 and 35 bucks. So yeah, our seller did do okay, probably made 20 bucks here. But yeah, I mean, that sometimes can make the difference. So look out for these on your constitutional scrap 90% stacks. These things will make a huge difference, and you'll make more money off them. Right, that's going to go ahead and wrap things up here for the weekend edition of the PCMR. The info is educational use only, not financial advice. Please collect and or grade your coins about as responsibly as you can. I'm out of here, folks. I'm going to go out and do some hunting myself, as I do every Saturday. Thank you guys for watching. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge. Don't forget to like, share, and sub in for all the goodness. And I am out of here. You guys have a great weekend. Best of luck in your hunts, and go get them.